Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is where I show all the fucking body. This is where the tutorial's really at. Drop the fucking shirt. Oh, I blocked out my backlight. Oh?
That's the video.
Okay, cool.
Hey guys, it's PatrickStarrr. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have an amazing artist of today's generation. I am so honored to have the one, the only Makeup by Ariel, Ariel de Hala extraordinaire, my friend.
I love you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. If you guys do not know who the fuck this is Makeup by Ariel. Has done the iconic faces of today like Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, Rosalia, Shay Mitchell, Nikita Dragun as of late. He was gracious enough to carve me out into his schedule to do this wonderful video with me today. And yet it's still about him.
Of course.
I just want to say I've known you the fucking longest out of everybody.
I think it's been about 8 years, which is crazy.
8 years. I remember him starting in his career, and it's been such an honor. And we have both grown up in our own unique ways.
For sure. I have a...
And if you guys want to hear all about his journey and his rise to fame and success at a very young age, be sure to check out our podcast on Say Yes to the Guest. But without further ado,
let's start this shit.
It's gonna be about 8 fucking hours, ain't it?
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you guys, today's video is gonna be so different because we are gonna be doing kind of like a director editor's cut because Ariel is so into his makeup. I thought we could like voiceover podcast style this, which I've never done before, which I've never seen. In today's video, Makeup by Ariel will be using the Turn Up the Base Versatile Powder Foundation.
It was so good. So good.
Which you featured on your Instagram, IGTV.
Yes, I did. So now you guys got to see like a full breakdown of how we actually used it in the video.
Yeah, sponsored by One Size Beauty. Available now, 32 shades, $33. Amazing undertones. And without further ado, this is the Makeup by Ariel commercial launch with Morphe. So it's kind of like a mashup because we have my One Size brand and Ariel's Morphe collaboration.
First of all, that video was everything, by the way.
Oh, thank you. This one is actually everything. So let's go live and hit this in 3, 2, 1. Bitch.
Oh.
Ariel serving body, face, sex.
My doppelganger.
How proud of you are of this commercial and this collaboration?
So proud. I mean, it's just crazy and surreal to see it on this big of a screen right now because wow. Like, I worked so hard on this and I put so much of my time and energy into this project. Like, bitch, I might as well should have dropped my own thing now.
This is your own and it's one of the biggest brands, and I've worked with Morphe, and for you to have something so huge, it's just insane. And it drops 5/27.
Yes,
close to your birthday.
Yes,
which is the 29th.
2 days before my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
It was really special also because in general, like being able to have something that's kind of my own, you know, and having a brand like Morphe that really believes in artistry and like just let me do whatever it is that I wanted to do was so special.
What you guys are gonna see today is us kind of reacting to Makeup by Ariel doing my makeup. So enjoy this tutorial. This is such a treat, not just for me on my channel. Granted, I feel like I deserve it because I've known you the fucking longest. But for all of you, he's gonna spill all the motherfucking tea on his tips and tricks on all the amazing clients that he's worked on my face. And mind you, this is the first time you've ever done my makeup, and I have never.
And one of the first times that I've actually done like a full tutorial like this. Like it's very rare when I'm on YouTube because I'm usually so camera shy. I get a little weird about how my stuff is like showcased or whatever because I'm so particular about everything that I do. And I think you've known that about me forever. So it's been kind of like a struggle to get me on his channel, period, or on anyone's channel. So I'm excited that I got to do this and that I got to do this for you guys. So,
and you're so concentrated in the tutorial. What you'll see next, the first thing he says is, "I'm so nervous," and he's so zoned. So I came up with this format of talking through podcast style so he can really see what he's doing and speak to it, because otherwise it would have been a 16-hour makeup tutorial with him. So enjoy this video. Follow Makeup by Ariel on Instagram and social media, potentially YouTube.
Ooh.
for the channel. And be sure to check out his collaboration with Morphe, launching May 27th soon. And don't forget, makeup is a one-size-fits-all.
I'm so nervous.
Shut the fuck up. You've been saying this for so long.
Okay.
So you start with the brows. Are my brows okay?
I always start with brows. No, they're a little hairy, but it's all good.
At least they have brows, bitch. Okay, so you start with brows.
Yeah.
This takes about an hour.
Realistically, yeah, like 45.
I'm like looking at your assistant over here. 45 for brows. Okay.
Right?
Oh my god, can you model your nails really quick? It's mine. Oh, bitch.
I wish we could give you like a little face tape or something. Face is a little dropping. So right now I am filling in your brows. I work at brows like a puzzle. So it's not like I have a very specific technique on how I do brows. It's more so like gauging where you need the most coverage, like brow coverage, and then going from there and starting to shape the brow really. So right here I was starting at the very arch of the top of your brow, but then like you'll see when I start the other brow, I might go in at the lower portion of the brow. It just, I work at it like a puzzle. So it's really, you kind of have to gauge where you need the most brow product.
Mm-hmm. You are also shaping my brows with a little switchblade, girl.
Oh yeah, I usually take a little blade. This is not something you should try at home, but I take a little blade and I kind of like shape it as if I was like shaping the actual brow, but I'm shaping the pencil because I want to give that look as if you just got your brows like freshly waxed or freshly plucked, whatever.
Mm-hmm. What's also so impressive is that people are like, wow, he does makeup with those long of nails by John Legend.
Distance is all perception really, so like my perception of distance is thrown off when I don't have my nails now because I'm so used to the length.
Mm-hmm. And featuring your first brush by Morphe, you are concealing.
This part is really special for me because aside from using the blade to give it the shape, this part just kind of like seals the deal and snatches everything into position. I think I was telling you this when I was filming, is that I don't like to use a shade that's too light. A lot of people tend to go with a super bright shade and like really highlight the brows, but you can see how natural that looks. Like,
you see, I'm so stunned at this. Gorgeous. Wow. Finally, the Ariel brow.
Shut the fuck up.
Finally.
So now when I'm carving out the very top of the brow, I use a darker color that's closer to the skin tone because I don't like when it's super bright up there. The illusion I'm trying to create is that we just got our brows waxed or threaded, whatever we do. I don't like when it looks like super highlighted up here because then it looks very concealed. Then I take whatever's left over on the brush and I push it up towards the forehead so that I don't have to get close to the brow when I'm doing the foundation. Then I never mess up my brow.
The thing is, I can't fucking reach because I'm not built like that.
It's like strange to like reassess the amount of real estate I'm working with, so bear with me.
The fuck is that supposed to mean? My head's way bigger than all your clients, honey. Kim's face is like this big.
Oh yeah, you did her makeup before.
She's tiny. I do like one little thing and it's just like done. Nikita has a bigger face.
Yeah, she does.
Kylie's is like in between.
Kylie, yeah, she has but she has a pretty small head. For the amount of head she has, because she has a really small head. Like she has quite a bit of real estate for her face. But yeah, she has a pretty small head. When I'm done with brows, I like to use whatever concealer I use to carve out the brow. I bring it down right above the crease. And then I'll take a darker shade, something more similar to your natural skin tone, to apply that on the lid.
Oh my god.
This is just singing! Oh my god! Come on.
No, I'm kidding. Not the echo.
That was 2017. I was just trying to find a picture on Snapchat and I was like, oh my god.
So now I'm using like a synthetic blending brush. This brush allows me to, apply like that cream concealer under the brow bone to highlight. I use a darker concealer shade, and this I use to create that natural transition where it looks almost like your natural discoloration, but just prettier, you know? And this kind of builds for that transition of like my eyeshadow.
What's interesting here is that you use creams underneath, whereas like, you know, the Instagram days is like everyone just uses their brow bone highlight color and bring it all the way down.
Or they'll use like an eye primer and just like go straight into it while it's wet.
Whereas you use more of like a thicker cream, a stiff cream, and go over. And right here, I'm setting
it. Yeah. And this is my lucky brush, you guys. This is one of my favorite brushes in my collection. This really does like allow to like set and seal the deal without disturbing anything, and it's also so small that it allows you to get into those small areas and have like more precise setting. I've had this brush with me forever. I just like recreated it for you guys because it's been in my kit since I first started doing makeup.
And if you guys didn't catch it, Makeup by Ariel sets the eyebrow as well, because once they started hitting my brow, I was like, wait a damn minute, like what are you doing? You also said it neutralizes the eyebrow too.
It neutralizes the color of the brow, and it allows it to have more of like that natural brow color versus like the warmth that is usually in a product, you know? It kind of like cancels it out a little bit.
Really cool.
I'm excited about brows though, because I heard a little brand over here is coming out with some brows.
Really? And what are you doing right here? I think you're starting the eyeshadow process. Oh, by the way, you did set the eyebrows with the Ultimate Setting Powder by One's Eyes. Locked it in, and you're transitioning here?
Now I'm using my transition shade, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but I tap the front of the brow so that shade just like flows into the brow and starts my nose contour. So you'll see later on, it's what I'm doing right now. I'm blending it on the sides of the nose so that when I do his nose contour, it all just flows together and is like one cohesive thing.
But my eyes were closed the whole time, and I didn't want to look so I can watch it back with you like today. But like you pretty much do the whole nose
on the
in
side,
the beginning, and you don't touch it for like the rest of the video. I'm like, how did he do that? It's like such a unique
touch
process.
where I need to like touch while I'm doing makeup, so everything has its moment.
And you have like the lightest touch. I was literally just trying to enjoy. The reason why I wanted to do this format is to just really enjoy the makeup process with you and like catch up, because our careers have just blown up in different ways. You as a celebrity makeup artist, me as an influencer, now having my own brand, and you with your collaboration with Morphe. It's just crazy to have this captured on video, because we've known each other for close to a decade now.
You actually have a crease. That's so crazy. I always think about it now watching, like even more so. We barely applied like a crease color and it's already like coming together. Now I'm using like a more like flat precision like blending brush, and I'm going into his crease with a darker color from his palette, and this is allowing me to like really start to create that shape of his crease. I could have left it at this. Sometimes when I'm doing Kim's makeup or Kylie's makeup, this is really as far as we will go, and this is enough of a crease even for Patrick. Really, I think we took it a step further, and now I'm taking a more precise like pencil brush and really getting in there to create more definition.
And you guys will see all the brushes are on the screen, so definitely check them out. I think it's really cool how each of the brushes have a significant meaning to you in terms of like numerology, which we'll talk about a little bit later with the foundation and the contouring brush. But this, guys, do you see the artistry that's happening? Like, he didn't even...
I'm impressed with myself.
This is your first time ever doing my makeup, and you literally gave, oh my gosh, like you gave me like a whole new ass crease, and the brows are just to die for. So good.
Wow, this is so pretty. This is not really rocket science, but as soon as you find your crease, which everyone does have one, but a lot of people do have a hooded eye, and I think that's where you kind of have to play a little bit and find where you want your crease to be so that you can fake it. And these same exact steps are steps you take, but I would recommend like keeping your eye open in that case and like trying to find where you want to map it out.
And guys, the blend is insane. Like it's so good, and he really took his time.
I'm shook. No, literally. We were there. Patrick was like, oh, my back is hurting. I'm like, sit, bitch. No.
But here, what's different about my cutting the crease and yours is that I have the biggest brush to cut my creases because I just want to get it done.
And I'm over here so detailed.
With it, I can't even see the fucking bristles on the brush. This is the tiniest brush.
So this brush is actually like my precision like smudging brush, but it's so flat and thin that it allows me to also cut the crease with this. And I could do this with powder, or I could do this also with creams, which is what we're doing now. Initially, I had mapped out his crease the way that his natural crease wants to go, which is a lot more rounded. But because I knew that we were going to contour his nose a lot smaller, I took in the crease and brought it like towards the bridge of the nose.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that all week, you guys. It looks weird when you're doing it on yourself without like liner and lashes. But when I got home and I looked at the makeup, I literally was taking so many pictures. I was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna practice this, I'm gonna do this so I can show Ariel. And then I saw you a few days ago. You're like, bitch, your makeup looks different.
I know.
And this crease is very different than what I've done, but you'll see a little bit later how the crease like comes towards the bridge of the nose.
Right. Yeah, you guys can tell I took my time here. I really tried to like sculpt it out as well as I could. I take little baby steps because it's easier to do that than to like take a big step and mess up and not being able to fix it or losing time fixing it. I'd rather take my time blending it and getting it right versus like having to go back and try to fix it.
And for this, the total hours of glam I think was like 7 hours of
oh my God, it was
getting it was a very long time, but I wanted it to be perfect. You wanted it to be perfect, and like you can see, we're literally not talking here because he wants to like be in the moment of glam, which I think is so admirable that you take so much time.
Such a beautiful process for me because I get to really like get into it and like lose myself in the moment and like just really enjoy it. It's like therapy for me. It's like the time where nothing else matters other than what I'm doing in the moment. So I really take it serious.
I fell asleep. I swear I fell asleep sometimes, but I can imagine like, I mean, you're doing Kim tomorrow like so early
in the morning,
but it's just that it's also cool how they're able to trust you as you like do your thing. And you
sometimes they don't even look, and then they'll look up in the mirror and they're like, oh, gorgeous, and then thank you.
It's crazy. That was me half the time. I think the brows took like literally 40 minutes.
This translated so well on camera.
By the way, guys, update, my nails are done.
I still have the same set, which is rare for me.
It looks really good. We've updated. Oh, so this part is what I'm like been trying to master for the past week. I'm like getting a little bit better, but talk to them about this.
I'm kidding.
Bitch, talk to them about this eyeliner. Take the mic.
This is my classic Makeup by Ariel like liner. I like to pull the eye out more this way versus this way.
And you told me to keep my eyes open. If you guys could see right here.
That was really important to me because you're normally not looking down. Like usually when you're looking at someone, you're staring straight forward, and that changes the direction of your wing a lot of times. So right now what I was doing is I had him initially open his eyes so that I can map out where it was gonna go. And then as soon as I have that, then I can have him close and perfect the line to where I want it to be, because then you already have everything mapped out for you. And I start to fill it in before like extending the wing. I start to fill in like all the way towards like the tear duct of the eye, and I get really thin as I get to the front where it almost dissipates into nothing.
This brush right here is a part of your eye set.
Yes.
And there is an eye set.
This brush is very special, you guys, because it's not your average or your regular angled brush. It actually swoops at the very end, and it takes the form of your natural eyelid, and then the very end of it is like a single hair brush where you could actually use that tip and create like a flick, you know?
See, this is it right here. Like I was just like, I'm not gonna move. I think I was just sleeping with my eyes open. I was so still in this part that by the time he like, you guys will see, it was just like pure magic. And you're using the Inglot 77.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Super
eyeliner.
black, super waterproof. So good.
Yeah, so now I start to build the very outer edge of the wing. This also, everything I do is like a puzzle. I take my time like mapping out everything.
So okay, talk about eyeliner angularity. Do you follow
I follow
the
this
waterline?
The lower waterline, and I try to see which direction it's going, and then I pull.
But see, it just looks, I can't explain it. It just,
because, okay, this part of your eye sits flat, right? But then the very outer edge of your eye kind of lifts a little. I follow that line. So whatever that line is, I try to pull out that way.
Okay, now talk about the top angle. You just go straight.
Straight.
Because you know how you can go up and then the point can go up too? You kind of went straight.
I think
like
my hand was blocking before, but yes. So when I have them stare forward, what I'm trying to see is how I can pull the eyeliner in as straight as possible, right? Because if you were to close your eyes and do this, you kind of tend to pull the eye up
you're
and
kind
wing
of going
it up.
out right now. And I was like, where are you going? I'm kind of going this way. But then by the time I looked at it, it kind of, when I close it, gives that bat wing look, which I thought was so cool. Like, it's nearly impossible to do it myself because I'd be like, I can't see where I'm going like without it. But I know people that can do a bat wing on themselves, and I'm gonna try to practice even more. Oh, you even use a little Q-tip.
Yes, to clean up the edge and really sharpen it.
And you are gonna hopefully in the future have future master classes so people can see you in action once all of this.
Unfortunately, with the corona, I've had to like put a pause to that. But yeah, I love doing master classes. I love teaching in general. It's like such a fun thing to do. I'm using that same angled brush and just like perfecting the very like outer edges of it, making sure that it lines up with the outer edge of his lower lash line.
And what's crazy is that you get creative all the time, you know, with liner. For me, like, liner is one of the things that I have to practice, and I'll stick to it, and then maybe after like a year or two I'll go ahead and I'll change it.
Do you see right here? So before, I was noticing that this part at his lid was like a little bit more lifted, so I started to like shape it where that bat wing was getting a little bit more intense, and then I'll take the brush right now and I start connecting those lines so that when he opens, it all looks like a solid.
See, that's crazy. That's what I'm saying, because you know who I noticed you did this on that I can see in person. It's not like I hang out with Kim Kardashian every night. I don't. I hang out with Nikita. So but the way that you do her liner is just so insane, and she has even tinier. She doesn't have a monolid, does she?
No, not really, but it's like similar to you.
But what you do on her eyes, I'm like, god damn.
Yeah.
So this is where you can see that bat wing effect, which is really cool. And for me, that brush literally slays. like I think Ariel, when he did my makeup like a few days later, he did my eyebrows. Yeah. And I had a mangled cut up brush.
Yeah. I was like,
you were like, what the fuck is this? But this is just so perfect for this kind of eyeliner look. And this is your first fucking time doing my eyeliner.
I was so nervous, but I think at this point I was already in my zone. So
wow. You see when I open, sickening. I was trying not to move, so I'm like sickening, just like keeping still.
Wow,
that is so fucking sickening.
Wow, I'm shook with myself. Damn, I can't believe I'm so talented.
You know whose eyeliner I've been getting into? You know, I'm watching the last season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians on E, and Kim's liner is just, I'm like, I know that because I've seen it like up close and personal.
Thank you.
So lucky. Thank you.
I know. I feel like you're in the confessionals of Keeping Up right now.
This is just so cool. And you hold the brush like relatively close to like the ferrule part to have control.
Right. So depending on where you hold the brush, you have like either more precision, or the brush is either like being held with a lighter pressure. And I want that precision. So the more pressure I have, the more precision I have.
All right, onto the face. You are using the Secure the Blur primer. Oh, this is the foundation brush?
This is my foundation brush. This is my A24 brush. I numbered it after my mom. I know it might sound cheesy to some people, but my mom really is the foundation of my life. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. Like, she was so supportive of my every step.
And you can find this in the full Morphe signature
look collection.
Perfect. And he's using this on my face. If you guys didn't know, Secure the Blur has niacinamide, witch hazel, microspheres that blur the skin. And he was like,
I was so shook with this because it's not that Patrick has a lot of texture, because really, like, you would think it is, but it's not. He has like a lot of pigmentation in the texture. So even this alone, like, matted everything out, snatched everything, made everything look so smooth. And I was like, whoa, like you could literally walk out with this alone one day if you wanted to. Here, I forgot what I was doing. I forgot that I was working with a man. And he actually needed corrector initially, but it's fine.
He works on women all day, and I'm just so used to using my my orange color corrector on my face, but he just went right in, which I thought was fine.
Which is fine. You know what? Color corrector really helps with like the shadowing not coming through.
I think he used a little bit on top.
But I ended up going with corrector afterwards. Yeah. I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's makeup. We can fix anything, right?
And really quick, under the brows, the cream was RCMA. For the brows and also the lid. And this, he was trying to be shady and not tell me what product this was, but you like to go in with the liquids first. So this is wait, hold on.
Artie, I think we're gonna need a new bottle. Take it. Because you were soaking up all my product with that big ass face and all that chest.
This one is Pat McGrath.
This is Pat McGrath in number 18. I'm obsessed with this foundation. I feel like it's really lightweight, but it does the work, like if you need coverage. But of course, we weren't gonna stop here. After this, I went in with color corrector.
Right here, we are going in with the Dragun Beauty Orange Color Corrector.
This shit is fire.
Hold on. Hold the fuck. Do you see?
I started drawing like
a house.
Let me catch you do this with your other clients.
Bitch, I dare you to do this on Kim tomorrow.
Oh
she would be shook. Can you explain your philosophy of no, the liquid first? Because I do the same thing with like my Dior Air Flash, and then I'll use my MAC full coverage. Is it the same kind of that? It's because it's thinner.
Kind of, yeah. I like that. I like that you get a thin application of coverage, and then you can go in with a cream and kind of like fill in all the pores that need to be filled. It kind of like seals the deal, and it gives you the more of that like airbrushed finish.
And this like applies to like red carpets or
absolutely
filming.
I feel like it's camera makeup, of course. Like most people wouldn't walk out with this much makeup, but at the end of the day, once it's all done, it looks photoshopped, you know.
Or for events too. But it's crazy how you've grown up in like a camera social media world where glamour is seen everywhere, like whether it's
but it's funny because then somebody will show you a picture, like I'll be at photo shoots and people will be like, oh, we want her to look like this, very natural. And I'm like, but you guys don't realize that's a picture and that's how it photographed, and it wasn't as natural as you think it was.
And they're referring to like one of the Kardashians, and then they see them in a studio setting. Right. It's crazy. You really have to, you're really that good.
Thank you.
So we've applied the color corrector here on top of the Pat McGrath, but you would normally put it underneath and then put the Pat McGrath on top.
Right. It really didn't make a difference. It was such a thin layer of a foundation, and also it almost kind of neutralized the corrector a little bit, so it allowed us to use less product over this.
What's this you're using here?
I went in with RCMA as your foundation. Because I thought I wanted to use this other brand that I used to use a lot called William Tuttle, which I still love, but it could read a little too warm, and I was already warming him up as it was, so I didn't want it to like
that eyeliner bitch is just sickening.
Thank you. I didn't want it to read orange, so I used RCMA, which is still on the warm side, but it's a little bit more neutral.
It's so funny when people do my makeup, they want to match my skin, but I'm so tan on like my chest that it looks so juxtaposed, like when they see the foundation hit my skin. But it does come together once you apply like the highlight and everything.
For sure. And always, I never stop at the face. You'll see I'm always bringing it down the body because you never know what areas are going to be exposed.
Bitch, when you'll see, the bitch brought it down to my areolas. Okay.
You never know. And like foundation will never identically match your skin. It'll get close, but it'll never fully match your skin color. So I rather it all look like one.
Well, as an artist, guys, he likes to mix. But really quick, right here, you're using a darker cream to sculpt.
No, not yet.
No, this right here.
Oh, I am. Yes. I'm using my contour brush and I'm applying a darker cream. This was actually, I think it was Toasted Honey from William Tuttle, which is that brand I was speaking of. I really enjoy doing contour before concealer because I feel like sometimes you can get carried away with applying too much concealer that goes too far out, and you don't need to. Like, the concealer doesn't need to blend out all the way this way. So I carve the face first and then I highlight where it's needed.
It's crazy because sometimes I feel like I go too far and I take the contour to like erase it or mix it, but then I just end up using too much product.
Exactly.
I see. When I tell you really quick, when Ariel told me about this William Tuttle foundation back in 2015 or 14 in New York City, he's like, I have to show you this foundation in these little white jars. And we gallivanted. Like, he took me,
We walked
I think
forever.
like 10, 15 blocks in New York City to Alcone.
And the store was closing and I was like, let us in.
You were 17 or something. You're like, watch.
I was like, don't worry, I know the owner.
You're like, don't worry. Doom, doom, doom. And I was like, oh my God. Like we're just small people like in the store. You're like, let me in. They fucking open the store and he's like, show me the William Tuttle. Boom, 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 boom. Chinese 1, Chinese 2, toasted honey. And I was like, got it. And I still have them.
I know they're my favorite.
Yeah, crazy. Now we're going to highlight.
Yeah, we're using concealer now to highlight. I use like a concealer shade that's about like 2 shades lighter than the 2 to 3 shades lighter than the skin tone. It looks a lot lighter right now. Realistically, I don't like to go lighter than 2 shades. Like, I like the highlights to be like well balanced in the face. So right now, I think I mixed like Makeup Forever, 34, 41, and like a little bit of number 2 corrector from KKW Beauty. And I'm using my concealer double-ended brush to really sharpen up the edge of the liner, and then I use the other side to apply the concealer underneath. Now we're using my sponge.
His one fucking sample.
My one sample, which I try not to use often so I don't dirty it. But this sponge is really unique. I made it double-ended so that I don't have to switch out between sponges. I can use the same sponge to apply foundation on one side, concealer on the other side, and bake with the other side.
I was so gagged because here normally I would cut my eyeshadow, but here you went for that snatched look and cut right under the eyeliner, which gives it a more almond, it kind of like he paints a smize
on
the eyes. And I realized that he made my eye longer horizontally, whereas for me, I love that bright doughy eyed PatrickStarrr effect. So my lashes that I have with one side are very up and down, like vertically built, whereas here you have a beautiful sculpted eye.
Yeah, I also I was just using the sponge at the very outer corner of the eye to like barely tap that in so that I don't go too far out, because the more out you bring your concealer, the bigger you make the center of your face look. We want this to look very shrunken and small, especially because my contours are very soft. Like, my contours are never super harsh and aggressive. Like, everything is there, but it's super soft and sculpted.
Do your students or people that attend your masterclass expect like this war paint?
I think so. And I don't think they realize how much I love to blend in the process so that every step is blended.
Yeah, I think you were also blending, like how you blended the cream, the RCMA in the eyes, which led to that, because the transition is just so beautiful and seamless.
Thank you.
Same. This is what I was talking about earlier, right here, when you do the concealer, because you don't touch this ever again after this. And I've always wondered how you get that.
Oh, the nose.
The nose. Like,
yeah,
it just
so
stays.
I leave the highlight on there for a while so that I don't ruin the shape of the bridge of the nose. And then I also never, like you said, touch the sides of the nose where I applied that contour, and it just
see, when he left this nose right here, I was like, is he gonna blend that out?
I know.
Right here you're using cream blush.
This is not cream blush. I think it's liquid.
Okay.
I'm using NARS. It's like the peachy one. I don't know the name of it.
Sickening. You can tell, like, we haven't even powdered and the blend is just impeccable.
Wow.
I don't know what hour this is, but I think we're
This
in
is
like
hour 3.
We haven't even set the
But
guys, I'm
brows itself took like 45 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So then eyes was like another 40, probably an hour. And then now the skin took another hour.
blending. Same here with RCMA.
RCMA, and I'm using Shinto 4 to contour the nose. If you can tell, it's literally almost the same exact color of his skin, but it's defining that highlight that we applied. So now you don't need to contour as much because your highlight is so lifted.
Like watching it back, I was just under the assumption that you used like a ton of product. I think we have the same amount of steps. Just like when I do my full glam, it's just like you use a lot less product because I just cake and cake and cake. But then once you start powdering, that's where the glam just like comes together.
Agreed.
And this is your classic baking here.
Right. So I initially don't fully apply a shit ton of powder to the face. Like I set the makeup very well. And I put a thin layer of like a baking. Using your One Size Ultimate powder, and we're making sure that everything is just like locked and set into place. If you're, I'm so precise when I'm baking the bridge of the nose. I'm using like a wedge sponge, and I'm just applying it straight at the bridge of the nose. And we set the center of the skin right now.
Does this technique apply to mostly all your clients? Is your baking pretty much
everything
standard across the board?
Even when I'm doing the lightest makeup, it could be, I could have almost nothing on the skin. My key is that I want the same technique, just thinner product. So if I'm doing like really light glam, I still want my technique to be there so that the face looks snatched, but it's very thin.
This I was gagged. That bridge of the nose, it just was so snatched.
Thank you. So right now I'm using a puff, and I'm mixing your translucent powder with medium 5. And this is your pressed powder from Turn Up the Base. I mixed it so that the translucent powder was skin tonal. When I'm setting the face, I like everything to stay in the same undertonality of like what I've originally created, so that it doesn't take away from what I've put on the skin. And this kind of just like creates like a soft set, so that when I apply powder, it doesn't fully all adhere to the skin and create like a cakey layer to the face.
It's crazy because it just like, even though it's a lot of steps, it's like a lot of thin steps. And we went back and forth between this kind of fluffy cotton like puff, and then the One Size fabric puff.
Exactly.
But is there a purpose to using this kind of puff?
I like this kind of puff because I feel like it doesn't disturb the foundation application.
It's like a sheep.
It's like a sheep, exactly. And it literally is like cottony almost, like it just like barely touches the skin.
Wow.
This is like classic Makeup by Ariel right here. Like
this is like classic Makeup by Ariel really quick.
Right here, this is very much me. This is like the face, the Ariel face for sure.
Like I wonder how you got there. Like that nose right there, is that from the cream still? Because we haven't contoured.
No, we haven't contoured. That's still from the cream contour. That's still from the cream highlight.
It's kind of like a reverse contour, because it looks like you already contoured, but you're
damn, you need a lot of powder. Just powdering and powdering and powdering.
I am a man, and I have a lot of just skin.
No, I live for it. This was such a fun project for me it was like I was painting a huge canvas.
He did say that my glam was very, I said, is it Kim or Kylie? You said more so.
It's more so like on the Kim side.
Kim side.
It's more glam for sure.
Aha.
Ooh, here we go. Turn up the base.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is the Turn Up the Base powder. So what he said earlier with the ultimate was with medium dark 5, my normal tone, but I have a little bit of a tan. So he's taking medium dark 6, which has golden olive undertones, and using this all over my face with his brush.
This is important because, I'm using my setting brush. This also like counteracts as like a overall bronzing brush as well, but I'm using this darker powder because I feel like also when flash hits the face, powder can photograph a little bit lighter than what it is. So I tend to go a little bit darker than what you
I'm like, why the fuck do you have to get my shoulders?
Because there we go, got the tits.
You were saying when flash hits the face.
When flash hits the face, it tends to read a little bit lighter than what it looks like in person. So I try to darken a little bit more than what we would want, so that when it photographs, it just all looks like the right color, you know?
I was shook that you really went down here, and on Kim and Kylie, you'll really go as low as
I'll
you
go
can.
as low as the hands.
Because the paparazzi don't edit.
They don't edit.
They don't lie.
Yeah.
Look, he asked me to lift my fucking arm. Like, that's how attentive he is. Do you ask like the girls to like spread their legs and like lift
arm
their
up,
arm?
leg to the side.
But the glam is just looking so snatched, and I'm so impressed at how the creams really supported like the foundation and even the blush. You can kind of see.
Also, let's not dumb down this powder, because your powder like really did blur so much. Like, it looks like actual Photoshop. It's so beautiful.
The powder is so amazing. We call it turn up the base because there is such a beautiful blurring base and like a pigment base, and there's beautiful rice silk powder in there.
And I brought back a powder puff, and now we're really like pressing it into the skin, so that added like that extra layer of coverage that we needed.
And it's buildable. The powder is most definitely buildable. For those that are wondering, does it look good natural or not? But it starts off as medium, and you can go as much as you want to get that medium to full.
I'm using one of my, it's technically, we named it the contour brush, but because it's shaped so narrow, I'm able to use it as a highlighting brush on a face like this. So I'm using medium 2 at the center of the face. This is kind of just brightening those like highlights that we already applied and reinforcing them. For every cream I apply, there's a powder or 2 or 3, but every layer is a thin layer that builds up to create this beautiful, flawless glam application that we're doing.
I normally just go to light 5 and just brighten because I'm just like so in a rush, but he is like the king of blending. That medium 2 is like that perfect shade, and then you went all the way up to light 5,
which is what you normally use, but now I'm using it to transition, so I keep that shade really close into the center, and that is like that extra pop of highlight that we just needed to like really bring the face to life.
And you're using a smaller tapered brush,
right? This
the
is
one that we were using to set the brows.
My precision setting brush.
It's just the blend is just insane. Right here you are reinforcing more bake, right?
Right. So now after I set everything with the foundation powders, we're going in with some actual setting powder, and just this is like the final lock-in, because Patrick gets really oily and sweaty.
Do you do this on Kim and Kylie too, like for their full glam? Do you like reinforce too, or is it just me and Nikita?
I think you and Nikita. I think I do a different level of glam that I really enjoy with you guys. Because obviously it's a different kind of makeup, you know.
Well, also my anatomy is different, and Nikita gets very oily and hot too, because she wears wigs all the time.
All my techniques are present here. Like, everything I'm doing here is my actual techniques. It's just probably like a little bit more product than I would normally use. So right here, I'm taking the color Booked in Patrick's palette, and I am buffing it underneath the lash line to create that really like diffused under eye look. This is kind of like my transition shade for the under eye, and this I bring it really low because I like to create a lot of balance and symmetry in the face, and the lower I bring this, the shorter the face, the shorter the distance from the under eye to your upper lip, from your under eye to your nose. Like, all of this just seems more symmetrical and smaller.
And I was so shook that you were taking a flesh tone pencil and using that in my waterline. I was like, is he gonna close it and give me like smoky Ariel?
Yeah.
But you decided to keep it like open and bright.
I wanted a very like baby doll look. I loved it. Yeah, I brought it mostly at the outer corner of the eye.
This is by KKW.
This is KKW. It kind of just sharpens that under eye shadow and creates like that really like baby doll like open eye.
It's so crazy because I have the same philosophy too. If I want to look more like snatched, I won't go as low. But also too, for people that have like baggy under eye circles, it kind of like hides that too.
I've always thought about that. I'm like, oh my god, this literally camouflages any lines that you have underneath the eyes.
And super precise here with the black eyeshadow, Turban Legend from the Visionary palette, which I remember you kind of like sharpening
it.
Yeah, like not in the waterline, but just like right under
outside
the lash
of the white, just to close it up a little, because sometimes the like nude could really open up the eye too much. So we want to go ahead and like reshape the eye and give it that structure.
And you're blending that out.
Yes, of course.
It's crazy the amount of effort that you put on the top on the lid is the same amount of effort that you put on the bottom too. It's just so insane.
So now I'm applying my first layer of blush.
First layer of blush. If you guys don't know, he had about 14 to 16 blushes, and all I saw was,
people are like, what blush does he use? And I'm just like, well, I'm using like 16 blushes.
there was like a palette this big of like all blushes, and then he was just swirling and dipping and coating, and this is it. And this blush placement is just very
specific.
Signature.
Yes, this is very Ariel blush placement. It starts off at the apple of the cheek, but if you see, I designed this brush so that it spreads out and the focus stays at the center, but then everything else gets diffused and the brush does the work for you. And now I'm dusting off some of that bake with my Precision.
And this brush is in the full face kit. Sickening. See, do you guys see what I'm talking about this freaking nose? He did not touch this nose, and I don't think you even contoured the nose just yet.
No, I haven't.
And it looks like it's been contoured and snatched the whole time. I feel like highlighting makes it look thinner because it's just that powder coming through than having the lines, because sometimes when you contour it can go really low.
That you keep that baked there, like the longer the more highlighted that gets, because the more powder gets absorbed into the skin. So that creates like a really thin film of like this like brighter cast onto the nose that allows the nose to look more lifted and contoured.
Now we're gonna contour. This is dark 4, which is a golden.
I like to warm this bitch up because she looks a little ashy sometimes. Face this way. Ooh. Just kidding. Patrick, it's not that you look ashy, I used the wrong word, but sometimes you do tend to read a little lighter, because I feel like you don't do what I did where I take a darker powder and then like color your skin a little bit more. I like a little bit more richness. And right now you did a good job. It's because you've been following my technique.
You know what? Anyways, he used a dark 4 with golden undertones in turn of the vase and contour the face. And this is your sculpting brush.
This is my my contouring brush, yes.
The blend is so insane. Like how it just like, it looks like
it's contoured, but it also looks like it could just be your skin color, you know? Like it just, everything's fusing together.
It's crazy because there's like elements of drag that's in here, but it just looks like you're painting light where to go. It's kind of like you're sheep herding where light is to hit the face, which is so cool. If you guys are loving this video, comment down below which one is your favorite part.
What is your favorite technique of the Makeup by Ariel experience?
And right here, you're taking the ultimate setting powder and cutting under the cheek. What is this sponge? Is this like...
This is a wedge sponge. I got it at a beauty store, but any wedge sponge will do. It really allows like that really snatched cut. This part, I like to shape it around like the apple of the cheek. Like I bring it up instead of going straight down, because this starts to form that like fake apple, you know?
This you do on the girls?
Yes, I do it on everyone.
Okay.
I like that very lifted and sculpted look, and I bring it pretty high up so that the cheeks look very lifted, like super young and supple.
Yeah, because it's higher than what I feel I would do, because I go pretty low, which kind of like droops the face.
Right, so this kind of just like lifts and awakens the face.
And by the way,
this is my second application of blush.
My skin eats blush.
Yes. I had to go in with like more of a neon color at some point, like an eyeshadow, which is, I also do that with everyone. Blush is the first thing to dissipate. It's not just you, it's also, there's so many layers of powder that have been built up at this point that it can't sit. Yeah. So you have to kind of, you have to kind of keep blending it in and like having it adhere better to the skin.
And now you're contouring the nose, when I thought this whole time, because I wasn't like really paying attention, I was just so focused here and there with him, that I didn't know that you were just starting to contour my nose with the powder. And even right here, you're painting even more of that light 5, which
I'm reshaping just in case the under eye went a little too low. As you can see, this one's starting to get a little bit more lifted and shaped. The other one is a lot more diffused. I'm going in just to like shape and add a little bit more lightness and coverage.
crazy.
That's why Patrick felt like, at the end I was like, what's different? And he's like, you're just like more precise, but I think product we use the same. And I'm like, I think we do a different thing where I use more powders actually, which is crazy. I technically use more powders and like thinner applications of them, but then like Patrick uses more creams and like,
well, I use like less creams and then like less powders. You have like a powder with a transition and then another powder and another transition. Yeah, I just have like the 10 product version of your 40 product version. We're using turn up the base here and loose powder in combination on top of all the creams that you've laid down, and it doesn't look crazy even under this like HD camera,
and it all just like blends in so well, which says a lot about your product too, because I feel like a lot of products tend to not mix well with other products, and this, it worked well with everything that we've been working with. So now we're applying mascara. This is one of my favorite mascaras. This is Lancome Hypnose, and I think it's deep black. I like to apply a thin layer of mascara. He doesn't really have much lashes, but you know, just get in there.
She's real honest today and real comfortable. She finally has a place to express herself. Call Kim Big Head, girl. See what happens.
You'd be surprised what I say. I'm now tightlining his waterline. This is where I connect everything and I bring it towards like the tear ducts so that everything looks like the eyeliner is like flowing from the inner corner of the eye all the way out.
This is by One Size Beauty. This is a gel formula, 24-hour waterproof.
And when I say waterproof, that shit did not move. We went out after this. We were dancing. That nothing budged.
Nothing. We filmed this Cinco de Mayo, girl.
So this part was interesting because I normally don't use this big of a lash, but when you have a lot of real estate, you got to do with what you got. So One Size has these beautiful lashes that Patrick created. They're like the classic like PatrickStarrr lash. Are you wearing them right now?
Yeah, I'm wearing, they're called Come Through, but this little baby lash is by Raquel.
Yes, this is Raquel Beauty. I don't know the name
Solar
of this
Flare.
Solar Flare.
Solar Flare. They're beautiful and wispy. They're like the classic.
And they were very lifted, so it gave that open eye effect. And now we took Patrick's lash at the very outer end of the corner and like winged it out and added that really.
Yeah, so we cut these in half, and then you can see, girl, I've been wearing I even wore on my next campaign.
I saw.
Fuck off,
She's
bitch.
been wearing them for the past week and a half.
Girl, they're like,
they're probably like this and all powdery.
Those lashes were doing the Thriller last night.
But they're beautiful.
What I admire about Ariel in doing my lashes is that he really evaluated the real estate on my face and was like, okay, this lash is going to complement,
but that's important,
the proportions of my face, and you'll see like these lashes are just,
it's all jokes. Like obviously me and Patrick love each other, so I get to play around with him like this, but really when I talk about real estate, I really am assessing each face, because this lash won't work on Kim or won't work on Kylie, won't work on Nikita, but like it works on him and it might work on such and such, you know what I mean? But it's all about assessing what works on everyone's faces, because if I had put a tinier lash, the distance between here to here would have looked too big and it would have thrown off the proportions on his face.
And as you can see, the lashes are just supported by the beautiful liner. Oh, and also you added like little Raquel individuals to connect.
Yes, I did.
Between his lash and my lash. So I think you put like 2 individuals in
just
between,
to blend.
To blend. When I tell you guys, no one ever does my lip. No one. Or my eyebrows.
Did I do a good job?
Yes. Like I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let, even in all my One Size Beauty campaigns, I like do my own lip. It's just like,
Kylie never lets me do her lips. But it's not because I can't, it's just because I take this long doing it and she does it in 2.5 seconds.
She can do it with no mirror.
Yeah, she literally goes like this with eyes closed and she can do it. I really take my time with this because each step is just as important to me, and this is really like a sculpting job because Patrick does have beautiful lips, but he explained to me, which is something that is a normal thing. Nobody has 2 exact sides of their face, and I think one side of his lip is a lot longer and then the other one is more lifted. So like we tried to match it to make sure that it's like symmetrical.
And this is KKW?
This is Kylie in the shade Ice Latte.
Beautiful color, and I still can't get over how the lash like complements the liner and how pulled out it is. It's just so stunning and classic.
It really is. Wow.
And again,
I'm
the
just
nose
getting
is still
into it.
baking. Like even through the lip.
The nose is still baking.
And you like
and
to
now
blend.
I like to blend it in. I try to keep the very center of the lip like uncovered so that when I apply lipstick there, like the pigment stays very
I look like a
present.
statue, bitch. And again, he's
Wow.
concealing the lip, which I thought was like insane because who has the time? Makeup by Ariel has the time.
I am using a lip color that I will not speak on because it's discontinued and there's no point in me saying.
Stunning in person.
It's kind of like a flesh tone. Like, and it makes the center of the lip look so awake and pretty. At this point, Patrick was feeling himself and he's like,
well, the whole time, imagine, I've been sitting there for I think 6 hours by now and I've been trying to like hold my model
wow.
face.
Wow. Oh my God. You look so pretty.
Wow. Sickening.
So now I'm highlighting the bridge of the nose with
With
I think it's Fenty and it's like, I don't know the name
oh
of it.
yeah, it's the champagne one. Yeah.
It's like a goldy champagne.
Yeah, it's not the
color.
glittery one, it's the shimmer one. And what I'm impressed about is that that's the only place, oh, and also the inner corner
Where I put
that
highlight.
put highlighter. The inner, it's literally me too. I'll do highlighter here and down the nose.
And this part I learned from Patrick. I'm taking the highlight into the crease, like the beginning of the crease, because this kind of like brightens and reshapes that area.
Because my face is like more flat in that area, it kind of gives the illusion that there's
more
depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did not gloss the lips. I was waiting for you to like gloss, but spoiler.
This is very signature of me.
Yes.
I like a gloss, but I think everything matte just reads so much more clean to me. It's a personal preference.
And even watching the last season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, like Kim's lip that you do is
Always matte.
always always matte. And right here, he's just gonna set the face and the forehead.
And this completes the signature Makeup by Ariel glam.
Wow.
Wow, you look sickening.
It's the brows for me.
It's the everything for
It's
me.
the liner, the lashes, the
You look
blend.
so pretty. Like you took on this different character. Like I could just feel it as you're posing. Like that is what I live for though. It's like that feeling of confidence and empowerment that I'm able to give through glam. That's so beautiful. Like makeup really is such a one size thing, you know?
And when you're touching me, I'm just like, this is just gonna go down in history that us as friends gallivanting for like, oh my God, like from New York
Sickening.
City to now us having our own.
My collab, your brand,
Yeah,
me,
it's
just my
crazy.
artistry in general, your presence on social media, like it's all so special. And I'm so lucky that I get to do this all with my best friends.
Oh, thank you. Guys, this look is lashy, it's cut crease, it's contoured, it's blushed, it's bronzed, it's overlined and stamped to the gods. I am so honored to have one of the best makeup artists in the world, Makeup by Ariel. You are like one of the greatest of this generation.
And it's crazy that you saw it all happen before your eyes.
I'm so
Before
honored.
anybody.
And this, guys, is his first YouTube ever artist edit. I want to do more of these with other artists, but who better to start it off with in this type of format, doing a voiceover, speaking about the video, so you guys can get a really in-depth look at the iconic technique and application that he has in his God-given talent. Thank you so much.
I love you. Thank you for having me.
And congratulations to Ariel on his first ever Morphe brushes. Like you guys heard in the video, every brush has a meaning, every brush has a purpose to the signature Makeup by Ariel beat. Congratulations on your first collab. Also, happy birthday, it's your birthday month. And also, if you guys want to check it out, follow him on Instagram, check out his collaboration at Morphe. Also, be sure to check out Turn Up the Bass and all things one size at Sephora and onesizebeauty.com. Don't forget, makeup is a one size fits all, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.
Bye, guys.